Okay, this is our first example. We've got 2 Leman Russ, 3 squads, and these are going to be our bad guys, these custodians, although they could be anything. Let's assume that this is how we've come to the situation. These guys have moved up some previous turn, maybe they've got out of a land raider. They're here. These are our units. This is not good screening because we can move this guy up, these guys up, and then when we charge, we've got a clear path to this Leman Russ. These 2 squads and this one are not doing anything to protect the Leman Russ, so this is not what we want. Now, if we spread them out, we can actually, we'll get rid of this squad for now, and we'll spread these out. Face these guys this way. That's that squad. This squad's, these guys are going to face this way. Now then, okay. Now I purposely made a mistake with the placing of these to highlight a point in a minute. So now these guys can't get through here. It's not big enough. If the base could fit through, they'd have to multi-charge because they're going to come within an inch of one or both of these squads. So now they're forced to go through. So let's assume they make their charge. This one goes here. They get right in and say they kill all but one of this squad. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So we survived, and we've stopped them charging the Leman Russ. But my mistake was placing this squad very close to the Leman Russ, because by placing the squad close to the Leman Russ, when these guys come to do their piling, they can do this, they can come round, and they might be able to get into combat with the Leman Russ without charging it. If they'd have killed them all, they would have just got their 3-inch, this is 3 inches, they would have got a 3-inch consolidation and could have ended up, let's assume that they did end up within an inch of this Leman Russ. And now this Leman Russ is in combat, we've lost a squad. The screen worked because it meant that the Leman Russ wasn't charged, but now these have all died. The custodians are able to consolidate into this Leman Russ. So next turn, it can't shoot because it's in combat. If it falls back, it still can't shoot because it's fallen back, and we're in a bit of a state. So that's one quite. I mean, I've made this mistake multiple times, but you need to be very careful about the position between your units when you're screening. It's not good enough to screen like this, because even though you've got this screen, you're going to fall victim to consolidation when these guys die, or from piling in, depending on where the models end up. So what you want is some sort of no man's land between your screening units and your things of value. And you know, this extra squad that we've now got, because we've spread these out, is now really valuable, because even though this looks kind of ridiculous, but you know, deploying a squad like this, is there too many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, no. Deploying a squad like this is perfectly legal and within the rules, and we can even go to the extreme of making sure they're all exactly 2 inches apart, so that they're all covering maximum amount of area possible. I say 2 inches is about 2 inches. Let's put this guy here. So now we've got 2 screens. These guys they can't get round, they're never going to make that charge, and if they move 6 they're never going to charge to there. They're going to have to charge these, kill them, or charge them, stay in combat, hope they fall back, then charge these, you know, or if they kill them all they can consolidate into this squad. But it's a lot, you know, you've gone from where they were before into this one and consolidating and getting this Leman Russ into combat in 1 turn, to needing 1, 2, at least 2, probably 3 turns. So this is what screening is all about, is stopping these guys getting here. One glaringly obvious issue with this is if these guys have fly, then all of this doesn't matter and they can move like this. And if they can fly, then moving like this is perfectly fine, and then they're into your tank. So leaving this gap is something that you need to be careful of, because if units have fly, they're just going to go into that space. So you need to look at the base size of what's possibly going to charge you, because you want to make sure that that base size doesn't fit within this no man's land. So something small, like not a flying custodian, but I'm trying to think, like jump pack marines, they could quite easily fit in a small gap. But things like bloat drones that have a much larger base are going to be easier to screen against. So, you know, for these custodians, they're going to need to be quite. It's going to need to be quite close. I mean, he fits in there, and if a model of this size wants to move here and then charge to here, it's going to have to multi-charge, because it's going to end up within an inch of both of these units. So you're going to get the overwatch from the guardsman and the Leman Russ, and making this small so that it's impossible for them to charge the Leman Russ is a good idea. But then, you know, you're back to this problem. Well, you know, if they end up here, they kill them all, they're going to be able to consolidate in. So, you know, and then and also if they have fly, this sort of maneuver doesn't matter because they could fly to here. So then you have to think about, well, now I need to screen, you know, a lot more because they could fly into this position. So yeah, think about what's threatening your tanks with fly, and this no man's land that you leave between your screening units and your Leman Russ. I think that covers the basics. So yeah, multiple layers is a good idea because it slows things down even more. This gap here is really important. Think over it a lot and think again when you're facing units with fly. And yeah, one problem with this setup is that if these are shot and I lose 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm in not a worse situation, because, you know, this is still a long way round for these guys to run, and this is still a long way round for this guy to run. But if I lost more, if I started losing more, then it would have quite a detrimental impact, because now this guy can charge into these and this screen is gone. But, you know, if you set them up double depth, you know, a bit more closer together, then like so, then losing 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 isn't as bad, because you've still got some in the way. But when they're very thin like that, you're going to run into problems, because as fire shooting whittles them down, it's going to leave holes. And if you're facing more than one unit, you know, if there was another unit here, then that first screen is not going to be very useful if it's been whittled down by gunfire. I think that's about it. I hope that was useful. This is the first time I've tried something like this, and I just thought doing it like this, I'm also going to do a blog on it, but doing it like this probably gets it across much more easily than writing it and doing lots of photos and actually seeing how it works and how it, you know, can be broken, and you know, the things you need to think about. Hopefully that's made that a lot clearer. Thanks for watching.